Have you ever paused to reflect on the deeper meaning behind the month you were born in? At first glance, it might seem like a passing curiosity, a trivial detail without much significance. But to Carl Jung, one of the most profound thinkers in modern psychology, your birth month was far from random. He believed it held symbolic clues that could help illuminate who you are at your core. Jung proposed that each month carries more than just a place on the calendar. It acts as a symbolic gateway, offering insight into your psychological makeup, your emotional patterns, your potential, and even your spiritual path. This isn't fortune-telling or superstition. It's a psychological lens, a deeper way of understanding the self through the rhythms of nature and time. Imagine if the month you were born in could reveal hidden layers of your personality. What if it could explain the emotional lessons you're here to learn, the energy you naturally carry, and even the subtle forces that shape your habits and choices? At first, it might sound far-fetched. But when we explore Jung's theories, his work on archetypes, the collective unconscious, and the cyclical nature of life, it begins to make sense. The idea isn't about boxing people in, it's about uncovering patterns already present in our lives. In this exploration, we'll take a closer look at Carl Jung's symbolic interpretation of time, specifically how each month of the year embodies a distinct psychological energy, and how that energy may influence the personality traits, emotional tendencies, and inner direction of those born within it. But before we dive in, if you're someone who seeks depth, meaning, and self-awareness, consider subscribing. Here, we go beyond surface-level advice and explore the profound layers of personal growth, self-discovery, and psychological insight. You're not just joining a channel, you're stepping into a space where reflection meets transformation. Now take a moment, breathe. What you're about to hear may not only shift the way you see your birth month, it may reframe how you understand your patterns, your personality, and the story you've been living all along. Jung believed the universe is filled with recurring themes, what he called archetypes. These are universal patterns and images that show up in myths, dreams, and across every culture. They live both outside of us and within us, influencing how we think, feel, and act. He also saw the natural world, its cycles and seasons, as reflections of these same archetypes. Winter's stillness, spring's renewal, summer's fullness, autumn's reflection, each carries its own psychological essence. And because every month falls within a particular season, it too holds symbolic meaning. To Jung, your birth month isn't just a date, it's a symbolic imprint. The moment you entered the world was shaped by the energy of that season, the light or the darkness, the mood of beginning or ending. That atmosphere, he believed, leaves a subtle but lasting influence on your inner world. Take March, for example, a transitional month. In the Northern Hemisphere, it marks the shift from winter to spring. The snow begins to melt, the light returns, life stirs again. People born in such a transitional space may carry a dual nature, drawn between introspection and expression, between the quiet of winter and the awakening of spring. They often sense shifts before others do. They feel deeply. They strive for balance between inner and outer worlds. Now contrast that with someone born in January or July, months that fall deep within winter and summer. These are times when the season has fully settled in. According to Jung, those born in these months may embody qualities of stability, structure, and inner strength. They're often builders of order, steady, resilient, grounded. The energy of their birth month reflects a kind of settled rhythm, and it often shows in the way they live and lead. Jung's perspective was simple yet profound. Time is not neutral. It carries tone, rhythm, and symbolic force. And when we're born into a particular moment in that unfolding rhythm, we inherit its psychological atmosphere. It doesn't define our fate, but it does shape the emotional terrain we walk. Think of it like music. You weren't handed a fixed score, but a key, a background melody that colors the way your inner life unfolds. This symbolic framework can help you understand your own patterns, your strengths, your struggles, your shadows. And in Jung's view, self-knowledge is power. Not power over others, but power over the unconscious forces within us. When we become aware of these symbolic energies, we can work with them rather than against them. We become more whole, more conscious, more capable of living a life aligned with who we truly are. The key to freedom, the kind that begins within, lies in self-knowledge. And part of that journey toward deeper understanding is recognizing the archetypal forces you were born into. What makes this idea so fascinating is its subtlety. It takes something we often overlook, like the month of our birth, and reimagines it as a meaningful lens for introspection. Suddenly, the date printed on your birth certificate isn't just a marker of time. It becomes a doorway, a way to connect with the quiet rhythms of nature, the language of the psyche, and the call of the soul. So here's the real question. What does your birth month reveal about your soul's journey? According to Carl Jung's symbolic framework, each month carries a unique psychological resonance, an archetype. These archetypes are timeless inner patterns that exist within all of us, yet tend to express themselves more dominantly in some individuals than others. They're not just traits, they're blueprints of energy, emotional tone, and purpose. Understanding them can help explain why you're drawn to certain roles in life, why some challenges seem to repeat, why your path winds the way it does, and where your quiet, intuitive wisdom might be waiting to rise. In the sections ahead, we'll explore the meaning behind each month, from the deep winter stillness of January to the transformational energy of November. Through Jung's archetypal lens, you'll discover how time itself becomes a symbolic teacher, each month offering its own insight, rhythm, and mirror. But remember, this isn't about fitting yourself into a category. Jung's archetypes are not boxes, they're reflections. They don't confine you. They help you recognize what already lives within you, perhaps unspoken, perhaps unnamed, until now. So if you're ready to uncover the symbolic energy behind your birth month and how it may be quietly shaping your emotions, decisions, and growth, then walk with us through this journey. In the next part, we'll begin moving through the months one by one, starting with January, February, and March, and continuing through the full circle of the year. What you find may not only surprise you, it may reconnect you to a deeper part of yourself you've sensed all along, but never quite put into words. Now that we've explored Jung's idea that your birth month carries symbolic meaning, acting as a reflection of the archetypal forces influencing your inner world, it's time to look at each month more closely. Jung didn't view months as arbitrary blocks of time, but as symbolic phases in the larger cycle of nature. Each one holds a particular psychological tone, and those born within that tone may resonate deeply with certain universal patterns. Let's begin this symbolic journey through the calendar. Let's explore what each month might reveal about the inner landscape of your soul. January, the archetype of the elder or the sage. January opens the year in stillness. In much of the world, it is the coldest, quietest time, a season of pause, of breath held in silence. It is a time for reflection, not movement, for looking inward rather than outward. It represents a new beginning, yes, but also a reverent closure, a turning inward to integrate what the previous year has taught. Jung associated this month with the archetype of the sage, those who carry wisdom not necessarily from age, but from depth, from solitude, from stillness. People born in January often carry this quiet strength. They seek meaning over noise, truth over trend. Their presence tends to be steady, introspective, and spiritually anchored. January, the archetype of the sage. Those born in January often seem to arrive in the world with an old soul. Even as children, there's a quiet weight to them, a maturity that speaks not of age, but of depth. They may not be the loudest voice in the room, but when they speak, people listen. There's something timeless in their perspective, an ability to see life through a wider lens, to value long-term vision over fleeting moments, practical, grounded, steadfast. These individuals often carry a natural sense of responsibility, drawn toward structure and legacy. They're not in a rush. They build slowly, with purpose. But like all archetypes, the sage has its shadow. The wisdom that gives them strength can also make them overly cautious, emotionally distant, or burdened by seriousness. They may forget the lightness of being, the joy of spontaneity, the necessity of play. Their growth lies in balance, honoring their depth while still making space for warmth, wonder, and delight. February, the archetype of the visionary. February holds winter's chill, but beneath the surface, something begins to stir. An invisible shift, a whisper of change. In Jung's symbolic view, February resonates with the archetype of the visionary, or the revolutionary, the one who sees beyond what is into what could be. People born in this month often carry a spark of the future in their hearts. Their minds are quick, curious, unbound by tradition. They question norms, challenge systems, not for rebellion's sake, but because they glimpse new possibilities others might not yet see. Creative, idealistic, and often deeply sensitive beneath their independent exterior. They may feel like outsiders in a world that doesn't move fast enough for their imagination. Their challenge is grounding their ideas, learning to bring dreams down to earth and give form to the invisible. When balanced, the visionary becomes a bridge between present and future, between what's familiar and what's waiting to be born. March. The archetype of the reborn March is the month of awakening. In the Northern Hemisphere, winter begins to loosen its grip, and the first signs of spring emerge. It's a season of transition, of thawing, of returning to life. For Jung, March represents the archetype of the reborn, or the awakener, the one who moves from dormancy into growth, from inner winter into outer bloom. Those born in March often carry a powerful emotional depth, coupled with an intuitive connection to the cycles of change. They're feelers, sensitive to the unspoken, attuned to the natural rhythms of life and spirit. There's often a creative or mystical thread woven through their lives. They may reinvent themselves more than once, shedding old skins as they grow into fuller expressions of who they are. Change, for them, isn't just external, it's internal alchemy. But their gift can also be their challenge. Emotional intensity can lead to overwhelm, and their deep empathy may blur boundaries. The path of the reborn is one of transformation, again and again, each time emerging wiser, softer, and more fully awake to the beauty of becoming. April, the archetype of the warrior. April bursts forth with motion and fire. The world awakens with momentum, and those born in this month often reflect that surge of energy. In Jung's symbolic lens, April belongs to the warrior, or the initiator, the one who acts, who dares, who begins. These individuals tend to be bold and passionate, natural leaders who thrive in the rush of challenge and change. There's courage in their blood, an instinct to charge forward, to break through resistance, to claim their place in the world. But like all archetypes, the warrior must walk a path of balance. That same drive can turn to impatience, impulsiveness, or burnout. Their evolution lies in discernment, knowing when to charge ahead and when to pause and listen. True strength isn't only in action, it's in restraint, in purpose, in fighting only the battles that truly matter. May, the archetype of the builder. May is the season of full bloom, of steadiness, of comfort, of life fully expressed. It's a time of beauty and belonging, of roots sinking deep into the earth. Those born in May often embody the archetype of the builder, or the lover of simplicity. They carry a natural connection to the physical world, finding joy in what's real tangible, and lasting. These individuals tend to be grounded, sensual, and steady. They're drawn to art, to nature, to the quiet rituals that make life meaningful. Loyalty and patience define their character. They build what they love and protect what they value. Yet the builder's strength can become a cage if they cling too tightly to stability. The fear of disruption can lead to resistance to change, to risk, to the unknown. Their growth lies in embracing evolution, knowing that true security isn't in avoiding change, but in trusting their ability to create beauty through it. June, the archetype of the seeker. June stands at the threshold, midway through the year, bridging what was with what's to come. It is a time of brightness, movement, and curiosity. In Jung's symbolic view, June resonates with the archetype of the seeker, or the mediator. These are the ones who ask questions, who yearn to understand, who carry a hunger for truth and connection. Those born in June often possess lively minds and open hearts. They are naturally curious, emotionally intelligent, and gifted communicators. There's a youthful spark in them, a playful charm that draws people in. But beneath that charm is a mind always reaching for meaning. They live to explore, not just places, but ideas, philosophies, people. Their challenge is depth. In their wide search for understanding, they may skim the surface, afraid to stay in one place long enough to root. Their growth lies in devotion, to stay, to listen deeper, to turn curiosity into clarity. When the seeker commits to the inner journey, they become not just wanderers, but wise guides. The seeker's gift is connection, of ideas, of people, of perspectives. But with that gift comes a challenge: focus. They are drawn to everything, enchanted by possibilities. And in that whirlwind of curiosity, they may find it hard to choose one path, to commit, to stay. Overthinking becomes a trap. The desire to understand all things can turn into an exhausting need to please, to weigh every option, to avoid missing out. But the seeker's growth lies in stillness, in learning to center themselves while still honoring the adventure of exploration. Each month, as we've seen, carries its own symbolic tone, a kind of invitation to explore a particular dimension of the psyche. For Jung, these aren't stereotypes or categories. They're archetypal mirrors, reflections of timeless patterns that help us remember who we already are beneath the surface. In the next part of this journey, we move into the second half of the year, July through December. These months bring deeper, more layered energies. They call us toward reflection, emotional depth, leadership, and inner transformation. And perhaps in one of these symbols, you'll recognize something stirring within you, a quiet truth you've always known, waiting to be named. July, the archetype of the nurturer or the protector. July arrives with warmth, not just in temperature, but in spirit. It's the season of shared meals, family bonds, and a return to the heart. This is the month of the nurturer, the one who creates safe spaces, who listens deeply, who offers themselves in quiet acts of care. People born in July often carry an intuitive understanding of emotion. They are empaths in the truest sense, able to feel what others feel, often before words are spoken. There is strength in their softness, a quiet power in their loyalty. They protect what they love fiercely and often put others' needs before their own. But this archetype also has its shadow. In giving so much, they can forget to receive. In protecting others, they may neglect themselves. The path of the nurturer is to remember. Boundaries are not barriers, they are acts of love. To care for others, they must also care for their own spirit. Roots, memory, tradition. Those born in July often become the emotional anchor of their families and communities, offering warmth, safety, and a quiet strength that others naturally lean on. They carry stories in their bones and have a deep connection to the past, to lineage, to the invisible threads that bind people together. but even the nurturer must rest. Their greatest challenge is not in giving, but in remembering to receive. They can lose themselves in caretaking, silencing their own needs to preserve peace. True growth comes when they learn to honor their own emotional truth as fiercely as they honor others, to protect themselves as tenderly as they protect the ones they love. August, the archetype of the leader or the sovereign. August arrives with fire in its heart. It is the season of full bloom, of presence, power, and purpose. For Jung, this month aligns with the sovereign, the king, the queen, the radiant leader who walks with both command and heart. People born in August often exude natural authority. Their confidence isn't always loud, but it's unmistakable. They carry a sense of mission, of knowing they were meant to influence, to guide, to uplift. Yes, they may enjoy the spotlight, but not for vanity's sake. It's because they feel responsible for using their gifts in service of something greater. Yet the sovereign's shadow is pride. When misunderstood or unappreciated, they may isolate, control, or carry the burden of leadership alone. But when they learn humility and the strength of shared power, they rise into true leadership, one marked by grace, generosity, and vision. A leader who doesn't just rule, but inspires. September, the archetype of the analyst or the perfectionist. September whispers of transition. The air cools, leaves begin their turning, and nature prepares to harvest what's been sown. This is the domain of the analyst, the one who brings order to chaos, who finds clarity in complexity. Those born in September are often intellectually sharp and quietly disciplined. They notice what others miss. They seek precision, structure, and meaning in the details. They are the thinkers, the organizers, the ones who bring vision into form. But the gift of analysis can become a cage. Perfectionism, overthinking, and relentless self-critique can drain their spirit. They may struggle to move forward for fear of getting it wrong. Their growth lies in surrender, in allowing messiness, embracing imperfection, and realizing that beauty often lives in the unfinished and the unplanned. When they soften their gaze, their insight becomes not only sharp, but deeply healing. October, the archetype of the diplomat or the artist. October is a poem of balance. Day and night begin to equalize, the world turns golden, and there's a quiet yearning for beauty and connection. This is the realm of the diplomat, the artist of human emotion and aesthetic harmony. Those born in October often have a deep sensitivity to the moods of others. They are peacemakers, bridge builders, and lovers of grace, in conversation, in space, and in relationship. Their sense of fairness is innate. They value partnership, symmetry, and emotional intelligence. Often artistic by nature, they seek beauty not just in what they see, but in how they live. But the diplomat's shadow is self-abandonment. They may avoid conflict at the cost of truth. They may lose their voice in the effort to keep the peace. Their evolution comes through courage, learning to express their truth without fear of disruption. To realize that real harmony comes not from avoiding tension, but from walking through it with integrity and heart. November, the archetype of the alchemist, or the deep transformer. November descends with mystery. The days shorten, the world quiets, and we are invited inward, toward stillness, toward shadow, toward depth. This is the realm of the alchemist, the soul who knows that transformation is not a choice, but a calling. Those born in November often carry a profound emotional and spiritual intensity. They are truth seekers, shadow walkers, drawn not to the surface of life, but to its hidden meanings. They are unafraid of the dark because they know that darkness is not the enemy. It is the womb of rebirth. Their lives are marked by cycles of destruction and renewal. They are forged through pain, but they emerge with wisdom few can claim. Yet their challenge lies in surrender, not to despair, but to the process, to trust that even in endings, there is sacred alchemy at work. When they embrace their depth without drowning in it, they become powerful catalysts, healers, visionaries, guides through the fire. December, the archetype of the wise teacher or the visionary sage. December closes the year with quiet reverence. It is a month of endings, reflections, and whispered hopes for what comes next. For Jung, December echoed the archetype of the sage, the visionary teacher who walks between wisdom and wonder. Those born in this month often carry a deep inner knowing, matched by a hopeful gaze toward the future. They are seekers of meaning, carriers of light, and spiritual philosophers at heart. They think in wide arcs, often sensing patterns and truths long before others can. They may feel called to teach, inspire, or guide, to turn their insights into offerings for the world. But the sage, too, has shadows. In their longing for meaning, they may drift too far into abstraction. They risk disconnecting from the moment, or becoming disillusioned when life doesn't align with their ideals. Their growth lies in grounding, in remembering that wisdom must be lived, not just spoken. When they bring their light into everyday life, they become more than dreamers. They become visionaries who walk with both grace and grit. Each birth month, through Jung's symbolic lens, reflects a distinct thread in the vast tapestry of human experience. From January's quiet stillness to December's expansive wisdom, the calendar transforms into something far more profound than a measure of time. It becomes a mirror of the soul. These archetypes were never meant to confine or define you. Jung offered them as invitations, keys to unlock deeper understanding. They point toward your innate strengths, emotional rhythms, and the themes your life may naturally explore. But symbols are only beginnings. The real work, the true transformation, comes not from knowing your archetype, but from embodying it, living it, letting it shape the way you move through the world with intention, awareness, and courage. This is the essence of individuation, the journey toward becoming the most whole, conscious, and authentic version of yourself. It is a deeply personal path, one only you can walk. And yet, when you learn to see the symbolic forces shaping your inner world, you gain the power to navigate life not just by habit or reaction, but by meaning. Your birth month does not define you, but it may reveal something sacred about the path your soul has chosen. And perhaps now, with these archetypes in your hands, you'll begin to see your story and yourself with clearer eyes and a deeper sense of purpose than ever before.